Hello PreK, how are you? We're here for our second drawing together. I want to thank you, all of you, for your first drawings, the Draw How You Feel pictures to the music. They came out wonderful. We had some people coloring in with crayons, markers, even a couple with watercolors, which was very cool. So thank you very much for sending those to me. And I made sure that I responded to every one of you. I'm going to do the same thing for this. Now, we're going to move on to something a little different. So instead of just drawing a bunch of crazy, cool, wiggly lines, we're going to draw an elephant. Okay? So we're going to take our time. I want to make sure on this one, every time Mr. Lopazzo does a line, you want to make sure you hit that pause button or that stop button on your phone, your iPad, your laptop, whatever device you're using, and take your time. Don't try to keep up with me without pausing it at all, because it'd be very difficult, because I'm going to go through this pretty quickly, but I'm only doing that because I know that you can stop the video whenever you need to, and you definitely should. Feel free to color these in if you want, and make sure you send them to me on my school email address, mdelpazzo@germantowncsd.org. Okay? So I'm going to erase this, and then I'm going to zoom it in so you can see the board nice and close. Okay? You don't need to see me. I'm going to leave this red line because that's what we're going to start with. We're going to start with our ear. So I'm going to get rid of this elephant, and then we'll do this together. So you are going to need a pencil, a piece of paper, definitely an eraser, no doubt about that. Because we'll be doing some erasing on this one, and that's okay. When I was drawing my elephant just a couple minutes ago, I made a whole bunch of mistakes. I had to fix my elephant lots of times. Okay. Now make sure that you draw lightly. Okay, you guys did a pretty good job of that last time. So the first thing we're going to want to draw with our pencil, nice and lightly, we're going to make an ear. Now, just like last time, I don't know how big your paper is. So if you have a real big piece of paper, you can make a bigger ear. If you have a small piece of paper, it's going to be a little bit smaller. So you can see that I've turned my paper horizontal, right? That's sideways, horizontal, not up and down vertical. Our elephant's going to be longer than he is tall, so we're going to go horizontal or sideways with our paper. So over on the right side of your paper, a little bit up higher than halfway, right about up there in that corner, you're going to make an ear. Elephants' ears can be lots of different shapes. They can be round on the top. Mine is kind of flat. But you can see that I have it open on the side. I didn't draw a closed shape. This is just a line. It's not actually a shape. So what I did was I went up, over, and then as I was going down, I'm going down on a slant. And then when I got to the bottom of the ear, I just curled up a little bit. So up, over, down, and up. It could be like a triangle shape like mine. That's fine. It could almost be like half of a heart if you want to make the top of it round. Totally up to you. Totally up to you. Okay, so what I'm going to do, let me zoom this in a little bit better so that you can see the board. You don't really need to see me. Okay. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to draw his top of his head and the front of his head. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to start right up here on the top of my ear. Not where the line started, but actually up a little bit higher, almost to the tippy top of my ear. Very close to the top of my ear. So I'm going to go over that away to the right. I'm going to go over, and then I'm going to curl around. Okay? That's his forehead. We do not want that pointy right there. We want to make sure that is nice and round. So over and down. Very simple. Now I'm going to go all the way to almost to the bottom of my paper, because now I'm going to be doing the trunk of my elephant. So I'm going to continue with the line I just stopped, and I'm going to go down. It doesn't have to be straight. It can be a little curvy if you want. And I'm going to go down. And I'm not going to go all the way to the bottom of my paper, because I might run out of room for his legs and his little toes, or his big toes. So before I get to the bottom of my paper, I'm going to curl around and come up a little bit. It's kind of like an upside down candy cane or a fish hook. I just went down and curled around and went up. But notice I have lots of room right here on the inside of my candy cane. I don't want to make that really small because I'm actually not done with my trunk yet. Okay, remember, you should be pausing this. You don't try to do it as fast as I'm doing it. It'll be very, very tricky. Now, right up here at the top of my candy cane, I'm going to make the end of his trunk. And he can actually pick things up with his trunk. So he can like pinch like with 2 little fingers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down and then up and then down again. Right? So I'll draw it a little bit bigger for you over. I don't want you to draw this. I'm just doing this to show you that I'm going to erase it. I just went up, down, up, down. It's kind of like a letter M. Up, down, right? So when you're done, you'll have 2 little bumps on top. And it looks like he could pick up a peanut with those little fingers on the end of his trunk. Okay, so up, down, so that we have 2 bumps and then kind of like a little dip right there in the middle. Now you can kind of see what I'm doing now. Now I'm going to go down and I'm going to follow the curve of my candy cane. I'm going to go down a little bit, I'm going to curve around, and then I'm going to start to come up. When I come up, I'm going to start to go toward my ear, which means I'm going to start to go this way. I want to start to get wider as I go up toward the top because the elephant's trunk is going to get wider where it gets closer to his face and his ear. So I'm going to go up a little bit slanted that way toward my ear. But before I get to my ear, I'm going to stop. You should be able to fit maybe like 2 little fingers in there. I'm going to stop before I get to my ear. And you can see there's a little hole right there. I don't go all the way and touch my ear. Okay, so once again, start after those 2 little bumps, down, around, and then start to come uphill and go toward the ear, which means you're getting wider with your trunk. Now we're going to make his mouth. And that's why I stopped right there. Because now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down. I'm going to start right at this little line where I just finished. And I'm going to go down a little bit. And I'm going to curl around. And I'm going to come up and I'm going to touch the bottom of my ear. It's kind of like a little check mark. I just went down and then up and touched my ear. And you can see now there's his bottom lip. There's the inside of his mouth. And he can take his trunk and he can pinch stuff and just go whoop and put it right in his mouth. Okay? Now I'm going to come up and he needs an eye. He needs to see where he's going. So right about up here, right in front of the ear, up sort of by the top. We're going to make this eye very, very simple. All I'm going to do is I'm just going to make a curved line, kind of like a little frown. And then right underneath there, I'm just going to make a circle, like half of a circle peeking out from underneath that little frown. That's just his eyelid. Now, you don't have to color this in yet. I'm going to color mine in. What I'm going to do is I'm going to leave a little white circle in there. And that's going to be the little reflection, the reflection of light bouncing off his eye. Makes it look a little bit more realistic. And we're going to give our elephants have lots of wrinkles. So we're going to just give him a couple little wrinkles under his eye like that. That's all. Now, we're also going to give our elephant a tusk. Okay, so I hope you were drawing this line right here lightly because we're actually going to have to erase that a little bit. So what I'm going to do is inside my elephant, under his eye, kind of like between his mouth and his eye, I'm going to draw a curved line right there. You can make the tusk as big or small as you want. And then I'm going to draw that my tusk, it's going to go outside my elephant, curl around, and come back. See that? It should be much wider at the beginning where it attaches to his face and much pointier at the end outside of your elephant. And then I'm just going to put right here so it doesn't look like it's just growing out of it nowhere. I'm just going to put a couple little bumps on the bottom, and that kind of makes it look like it's growing out of his face a little bit more. And then of course our tusk is not see-through. We can't see through it. So we're going to have to take our eraser and we're going to have to erase that line right there. So now you have two little bumps, a line, and then it's kind of like a big curved triangle. It's bigger at the beginning and it's pointier at the end on the outside. And that's our tusk. We could even give our ear, maybe we'll give like a little bit of, you want to do a little detail inside the ear, you can. Just a little loop. Up to you. Now we're going to do our body. Our elephant's body is very, very big, so you're going to want to fill up your paper really, really well. I'm not going to go all the way to the end of my paper. That might be a little bit too long, but I'm going to go almost to the end of my paper. So just like my head started right over here a little bit under my ear, I'm going to hop over that ear and I'm going to start my body kind of the same place. My ear is going to be the highest point on my giraffe, but then my body is just going to be a teeny bit lower than that. Now we don't want his back to be perfectly flat. It kind of starts out a little high and it'll go down a little bit, not a lot. And then we're going to kind of come back up for his backside. So I'm going to start to go to the left part of the empty part of my paper. And I'm going to go over a little bit. I'm going to go down just a little. And then I'm going to come up a little bit. Actually, I'll stop there. I'll let you guys catch up with me there. Right? So it's kind of a straight line from the ear over a little bit, down just a smidge, and then up a little bit, and then we'll stop before we turn the corner. Okay? If you have a big head and big ear, then you can make your body very long. If your head is not too big, we don't want to make it so long that he looks like an elephant snake, and that his body's long and skinny. We don't want that. So we're just going to have to figure out, depending on how big your paper is, make a nice big body on the back of your elephant. Okay? Now, back here by his Bodinsky, just like the front is rounded, I need to make this round too. Okay? It's got a round backside. So I'm going to curve that around. There's no pointy corner on there. And then as I start to go down to the bottom of my paper, I'm not going to go straight down. I'm going to start to go in. I'm going to slant in, just like his ear slants in right there. I'm going to slant in a little bit, not a lot. Just a little bit. And then we're going to keep slanting in right about until we get not to the bottom of his trunk, but almost the bottom of his trunk. Here's the bottom of my trunk here. So that's about where my foot's going to end. So if I was to take my finger, I'm not going to draw a pencil line. I'm going to take my finger, I'm just going to pretend that I'm drawing right here. And that's about where my line would go, right about there. So you can see it's almost as low, or it's pretty much as low as my trunk. Okay? Now I'm going to draw the bottom of his foot, and I'm going to go that way. I'm going to go toward my elephant trunk. Right from this line, I'm going to go over. Elephants have very big feet. We don't want to make a little tiny foot like some animals have. Elephants don't have little tiny feet. They have big feet. Their feet and their leg are pretty much the same size. So now what I'm going to do is right after I make his nice big foot, I'm going to make his two big giant toenails. It's kind of like just two bumps, like a letter M, kind of like that. I'm just going to go up and down bump, up and down bump. Now you'll notice I didn't make the toes go this way. I didn't go that way. When I made my toes, I was at the end of my line, and I made my bumpy toes going back toward the back of my elephant. So you can see that my toes have a line underneath them. Let me do that again for you. So we went over with the foot, nice big foot, and then I'm going to go back to the left again toward the back of my elephant. Bump toward the back, bump toward the back, just like that. And now we're going to make the other side of his leg. And I'm going to start pretty much at the top of the first toe there. And I'm just going to go up. I don't want to go up too high because we need his body to be right there. So I would say maybe about that far is good. Just whoop, straight up. You can see that his leg gets a little bit bigger at the top. That's good. That's what we want. And if you want, you can even put a couple little wrinkles right there where his leg bends, right at the top of the line. And now back here, we're going to do his other leg. Now we're looking at the elephant from the side. So the other leg is over on the other side of him. We can't see as much of it because it's being hidden by this leg. So we're just going to have to draw a little bit of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here right about where his backside curved around and started to go downhill. And I'm going to draw this other leg going pretty much straight down. I'm not going to slant in like this leg. He's walking right now, and this leg is moving forward. The other leg is still back. So right from up here, I'm just going to go down. And here's the key. I don't want to go down as far as this one. I actually want to make it look like the leg is a little further away from me, which would mean that it's higher. When things get further away from us, they get higher on our paper. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go down, curl around, and go straight over. And you can see it's a little bit higher than my first leg. Not a lot, just a little. And we don't even have to draw any toes because we can't see his toes. His toes are behind this leg, so that's a really easy leg to do. Okay, back legs are done. I'm going to hop over to the front legs. And I'm going to go right about to where my ear and my mouth touch, right where my finger is right now. I'm going to go right here where my ear and my mouth connect. That's where my leg is going to start right there. So my leg is going to go down. I'm going to bend it in a little bit simply because my trunk is kind of in the way. You might be able to go straight down. I'm just going to bend my leg a little bit. And I want to go down just as far as this leg. So right about there. I want my feet to be in the same place. I don't want one foot to be high and one to be low. He's standing on the flat ground, the grasslands. Okay, so from the ear down, you can bend it at the knee if you want. And now with this foot, instead of going forward like I did back here, on this one I'm going to go back toward the back of the elephant. I can't go forward. My trunk is in the way. So I'm going to go straight over. You can make this foot as big as the back one. I think they're probably about the same size. Maybe the back foot's a little bit bigger, but it's still a nice big foot, as you can see. Now, these toes are on the front of this foot, so I'm going to hop over, not here. Back here, I drew my line first and then made my toes. I can't do that here. This is the back of my foot, but I want to make my toes at the front of my foot, just like this one. So I'm going to come back to the front of my foot and toenail, nice big toenails. Don't make them teeny weeny. Elephants have big toenails. And now back here, I'm just going to go up. I'm going to bend it a little bit because I bend it in the front. If you bend it in the front, you can bend it in the back. If you don't bend it in the front, then you're probably not going to want to bend it in the back either. And I'm going to go up probably about maybe as high as this leg goes, kind of. And if you want to put a couple little wrinkles on that foot leg, you can too. It's up to you. Now, before I do my other leg in the front, just like this one, I need to do my belly first because that leg is behind the belly. Now, if you make your belly up high, he's going to be a very skinny elephant. If you make your belly really low, he's not going to be a skinny elephant. So it's totally up to you how skinny or big you want your elephant. So I would say go up from the bottom of the foot a little bit. Totally up to you where. And I'm just going to make a line that goes from this line to this line. And my belly go down a little bit, and then maybe come up in the back. So from that leg to that leg. It's a nice little smile. So my elephant's kind of medium-sized. Now I can do my front foot, and this is a really, really easy one to do. I'm going to start right here on the belly, and I'm just going to go down a little bit, and then be forward to the bottom. Remember, just like this one, this back leg is a little higher, so is this one. I'm just going to go down and over. It's like a letter L, down and over, a capital L. It's a little bit higher than that foot, just like this one's a little bit higher than that foot in the back. And I don't have to do toenails on that one either. because it's behind the front foot. What am I missing? I'm missing a tail. Elephants don't have really big tails. Right here where it starts to curve in the back is where your tail's going to come down. It's a little bit wider at the top, a little thinner at the bottom, and he has kind of like a little poof of hair at the bottom. Like a little hairy football. Okay? And that's it. Our elephant's done. Actually, you know what? I'm going to kind of, right here, see where my trunk curls? I'm going to make a couple little wrinkles right there. Because when the elephant curls that trunk, he's going to get some wrinkles right inside there. So why don't we do a couple of wrinkles there? And we could even do a couple little wrinkles there if we want. Now we're going to do a very simple little background. There isn't a whole lot going on in the grasslands where the elephants live. Now, as usual, as you know, when we draw a line under our picture, if we're doing an animal or a person, we don't draw the line for the ground right under this foot. Then it will look like he's falling off of a table or the ground or something. So we want to make sure he's standing up and he's not going to fall over. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up a little bit when I draw I'm not going to draw the ground here. I'm going to go up a little bit. I'm just going to draw a line there. And then I'll hop over to the other side of him and draw the ground pretty flat. So we don't want to draw through the elephant, obviously. So we're going to draw a line here and then just hop over, and wherever it would continue there, hop over the trunk, boom, just like that. All right, 3 lines. And now maybe a little bit further in the back, and if it's further back, as we said, it's a little higher up. We'll do maybe some little hills. So I'm going to draw a line there and one there. And maybe I'll just draw a couple little hills there. A couple little hills there. You could do a sunset if you want. And then because there's just a few, we'll just do a few patches of grass here and there. It's mostly dirt, but we'll do a little bit of grass, some little patches. You can really put them wherever you want. Nice tall grass. Nobody's mowing the lawns out in the grasslands. Okay? Excellent, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you took your time, and I hope you hit that pause button, that stop button a bunch, because you're definitely going to want to go slower than I just went today. Okay? So, once your elephants are done, I want you to color them in if you can, right? Some of you just sent me pencil drawings, and that's great too. Perfectly fine. But if you can, color them in, and don't forget to send it to me. I'm going to write my email address on my board again. I know some of you already have it, but I didn't get pictures from everybody last time. Lowercase m, DELPOZZO at Germantown CSD.org. Thank you, Mom and Dads, for sending those pictures to me. Keep them coming. And drawing number 2 is down. I hope to see you soon. But if not, I'll see you again here at the whiteboard. See you later, Pre-K. I miss you guys.